Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show. Time to get our AFL tips. So we bring in the expert, Bevo. Michael Bevan joins us. Bevo, how are you?
G'day, Smythe.
Well, let me get this right. You've used expert and Bevan in the same.
Well, for whatever reason, he has been on a roll. Four in a row Thursday night, and he's done it again. Adelaide Hawthorn, so hard to go against him. How he's gone the rest of the week is debatable. Debatable. He's good on Thursday night. Tonight's game mate's a big one. Sydney 12th, Essendon in 8th. Sydney have won 4 of their last 5.
Yeah.
People are starting to get nervous that they make the finals. They'll have a run, but Essendon have won 3 of their last 5. It's at the SCG.
This is going to be a great game of footy, guys. Sydney are just unbelievable, aren't they? At the start of the year, everyone was writing them off, and now they're 1 game out of the 8. It's just incredible, and it's the season that we're having this year. It's just so hard to pick a winner. Sydney at home, though, they did really well the other week, of course, against the Bulldogs. Essendon was superb against the Powers. It's like, which Essendon's going to turn up?
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, but I think Sydney at home. What about you guys?
Look, I'm going to go with Essendon. It seems like every week I just disagree with you, and you end up beating me on more than one occasion. But you know, I think the form line of the Western Bulldogs is questionable given what happened to the Western Bulldogs last week. So I've sort of got a question mark over that. Yeah. And really, I agree with you. They were so good against Port Adelaide away from home that I'll give them another go. I really do.
Tippett's still out with an ankle. They're saying he's still having some problems. So a week or two before the Swans might bring Tippett back, so they've been winning without him.
Yeah, exactly right.
Not a bad injection to get. Yeah. Saturday's the big one, of course. Collingwood in 13th spot, Power in 4th. This is an interesting one, though. Collingwood win, and they could technically slide into the 8. It's that packed up at the moment.
Yeah.
Collingwood coming in off a loss, Power, of course, coming in on a win, but it's at the MCG. Tough ground to play on.
This is a really tough one again, Smythe. I went to the Collingwood-Melbourne game, and Collingwood was super impressive. You know, they had that 23-point lead at half-time and let the game slip, but really they should have won that one against the D's. So they're playing some good footy at the moment. The Power, not quite at their best against Brisbane. I mean, 40 points is a good win, but, you know, they had to play a lot better against Collingwood to win this week.
Go on. So, you barrack for Port Adelaide, so who are you going to tip?
I'm going to tip the Power.
Oh, what a surprise.
But I'm just saying that they have to play a lot better because Collingwood, you know, at the MCG is a tough ask.
It is hard to draw a form line because of what Melbourne did to the Western Bulldogs.
Yes.
And Collingwood's form against Melbourne. Yeah. You know, it lines up pretty strong. Port Adelaide, I thought Collingwood was a good loss and Port was an unimpressive win.
Yeah.
And you line those two up and you think, okay, what's going to happen? I'm going to go with Collingwood as an upset.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me, Poppy. It's going to be a very tough one.
You can't really go wrong this year because it's nearly impossible to tip. Brisbane sitting in 18th spot, GWS in 2nd spot. Brisbane have won 1 of their last 5. GWS have won 4 of their last 5. They're at the Gabba. Good luck if you guys go against GWS.
Well, yeah, like I said before, Brisbane were impressive against Port, and of course they did beat Freo a couple of weeks ago. Mind you, Freo aren't going too well. So GWS will definitely have to be on their game because Brisbane, you know, aren't playing the worst football in the competition at the moment, even though they're bottom of the ladder. But the Giants will be very fired up after their loss against Carlton, so I think they'll bounce back.
You know, I think the Giants are just going to... It's scary where the Giants sit at the moment compared to the sort of players they're going to claw back in over the next month to 6 weeks. GWS.
Frightening. Western Bulldogs sit in 9th spot, North Melbourne in 16th. Etihad Stadium. Both teams played pretty well there, but both teams have lost their last 2, so hard to get a form.
Can we flip a coin with this
I'm
one?
going to do that right now, actually. You're onto it. So, heads the Bulldogs, tails, Kangaroos. All right?
Okay, what are you going for?
Oh, the Bulldogs might win, actually.
Probably. They're well thought out, well researched.
I'm still going to go the Kangaroos.
Right.
I've actually picked the Bulldogs the last couple of weeks and it disappointed me. And the Roos, yes, they were disappointing against the Saints, but they've shown this year their best footy is good enough. So I think the Roos.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling real sorry for Luke Beveridge at the moment.
You know what? I know what's going to happen. The only one I get right is the coin toss.
Exactly.
All right, West Coast are in 7th spot. Melbourne in 5th. I like the way Melbourne are playing at the moment. Both teams coming in off wins.
Yes.
West Coast, though,
where
always
are they playing?
Domain Stadium.
Oh, well.
Always hard to get there.
Yeah, West Coast were really back to their best against Geelong last week, winning by 13 points. And I think even though Melbourne are playing some good footy, winning last week by 57 against the Dogs, I think West Coast will be too good at home.
At home, West Coast.
West Coast.
But it's an opportunity for Melbourne to put up their hand as a genuine contender if they could happen to get over the West Coast.
Melbourne are moving along very nicely. Sunday, Geelong in 3rd spot. Freo sit in 11th spot. It's at Simmons Stadium. Freo have lost their last last 3 in a row.
Yeah, they're not going too well, the Dockers, and of course they got thrashed by Brisbane the other week. So I think Geelong, too good at home.
I'm going to get out a coin again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat you $2 that Geelong win. Okay, I won't even toss the coin this time.
I think that money's pretty safe. Probably.
Yeah, I think so. Is it? Okay, I'll keep it.
All right. Selwood lucky not to get a game.
Yeah, it's again.
Last week it was pretty close.
Who knows with the MRP? Really,
it looked like he got Mitchell pretty good. So they got away with it. All right, okay, Richmond, your team, Poppy in 6th spot, Carlton in 15th, the MCG. Carlton in pretty good form at the moment, so...
I'm going to shoot across and see this one.
Well, I think Richmond had a morale-sapping loss against Sydney.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, as a Richmond fan, I thought to myself, wow, we can't lose this. We're on our way, top 4, started thinking about finals, stuff like that, and then 2 quarters later I'm thinking, I've got to cancel my plane tickets. What's happened to the Tigers again? So I'm not sure that that's going to make a huge difference to the Tigers knowing that I'm there, but I'm wanting to be there.
I think it'd be massive.
I've got to ask you this, Poppy. 8 of the 9 last goals were kicked by Sydney. 5 goals up. What happened? Is it mental?
Well, I don't know. I think there's something structural, or there needs to be. I'm not sure what it's like in basketball, but in football it's a fairly simple rule that when the opposition kick 2 goals in a row, you go back to, I do not let there is nothing. We stop the momentum at all costs. Now, that's a really basic analogy. There's obviously other structures in place, but they're not working because it's happening too many times.
I spoke to a group of coaches, AFL coaches, across the last few weeks about this very situation. They're saying your point is old school stuff.
It is.
We're man on man, we're more accountable. But because they're playing so much zone now, extra man back, by the time they get the message out to everyone, man on man, 5 goals have already happened.
But you know what?
So
And this is why
that quickly.
This is why the old school stuff was that you knew when the opposition got 2 goals, you knew that's it.
So my question has been to the coaches that you've got your leadership group. Surely the leadership group guys are back there to go, we need to match up here. But it's hard to get the message across the ground. I understand all of that. But in saying that, last weekend I heard criticism of Port Adelaide, who won by 40 points. So you kind of go, gee, that's a little bit harsh. Well, they didn't play as well as they should have. I'm going, 40 points. Now, 2 years ago, that's a pantsing. So then we're going, Richmond, geez, they've lost 5. They're horrible. Well, they're in 6th spot.
I know.
Going, the expectation on our teams now, because of the margins, is we need to get those kind of results. So I reckon we've got to wait till the end of the season, see who's in the 8, and then see what happens.
Work it out. And I think too with Richmond, what I like about Richmond is they've been prepared to take the game on at all costs. And they're good at doing it. But they need to be able to slow the momentum of the game down at the appropriate times to take the wind out of the sails to the opposition as well.
I think there's some comfort in Richmond. They're the 3rd youngest team in the AFL right now, so I think you can be a little bit patient. The trouble is, Richmond have been patient for so long.
I've been patient for a little while now.
Just quickly, because we have to go. St Kilda in 10th spot, Gold Coast in 14th. It's at Etihad. Last year, round 15, a year. We say a week's a long time in footy. How about a year? Gold Coast defeated the Saints by 40 points at Metricon. How do you reckon this game's going to play out?
Yeah, Saints, I think. Gold Coast, just so frustrating. 1 week they're great against Hawthorn, then they lose to the Blues at home. I mean, obviously the Blues are playing well, mind you, but Saints would be too good at home.
Saints for me. I think Saints for me.
All right, now just quickly, Bevo, I know you've been out and about. Quick rumours, what have you got for us?
Well, Jasper Pittard, of course, got dropped to the SNFL last week to play for the Magpies. We all know that he's a star, but, there's a lot of money that's missing in that Port Adelaide salary cap because they had to pay for the players like your Paddy Riders, your Charlie Dixons and those sort of guys. I don't think they can keep Trengo and Pittard, and Port does have a lot of good halfbacks coming through like Houston. We've seen him play some really good footy this year. We've got Cracker that still can't even get a game, so there's some good players that could replace Pittard. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittard goes to the Roos at the end of the year.
Well, it's a big money offer. I hear it's a big money offer on the table, you would think. And that's courage by Hinkley to drop a player that's been offered a big contract. To drop him, because the players normally react with, well, you don't like me, I better go and play somewhere else.
Exactly.
Now, Bev, I know you've got a couple more, so hold on to those for next Friday.
Yep, sure.
We need to get to a break. Stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.